Hey, how you doing? Thanks for downloading the show. Welcome to Garden Fork Radio. It's Eclectic DIY. Today we're going to be talking about DIY COVID coping. If you've gotten COVID, and we have some tips and tricks for you to weather the storm. And with me is my good friend Nicole. Hey, Nicole.
Hey.
So Nicole, you and your whole family had COVID in a car driving across the country. My wife and I had COVID in our apartment in New York City. I thought we would just share, you're positive, here's what we did, kind of hacks to make it a little more bearable.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm still thinking about you guys in that car all having COVID.
Yeah. I mean, the long story short is my son woke up from a nap with delirium, and that was scary. My husband Googled delirium COVID. Definitely a symptom. We went and got tested, rented a car, and drove home from Seattle.
And you live on the East Coast?
Yeah, we live on the East Coast. So my other son got COVID in the car. So my first son, he only threw up twice, and that was it. He had the delirium, he threw up twice, and then he was fine. Second son just had the sniffles, didn't feel good. I was the last man to fall. I didn't feel good the last day we were driving, so day 4. And I'm the driver.
Wow.
Got home, and then I was in bed for probably 5 days, just feeling like I had a bad flu. My husband never got it.
Very similar, yes. I had a sore throat. I thought it was like a sinus. I have the sinus allergy. I have a dust mite allergy, and I have asthma. And if I don't vacuum the house and clean the sheets and everything, it just builds up. And I thought, this is my allergy reaction. And then on Sunday, it didn't go away. And my wife said, why don't you take one of the tests, at-home tests? And I took it, and it was positive. And I didn't want to tell her.
Oh, God. You were shocked.
I was like, this is not happening. And I said, she goes, well, what did it do? It goes, I'm going to do it over. So we had another brand of test. I had bought 3 different kinds, I think, at the drugstore because I just wanted to stock up,
Right.
And that one was negative. And I'm like, come on. So then I talked to Erin, the impatient gardener, who had just gone through it. And she said the at-home tests are more likely to report a false negative rather than a false positive. So there are some tests that will say you're not infected and you still are. So then I took a third test and it was positive. So I'm like, okay, we're sick.
Yeah, my friend who's a biology professor at Georgetown, her mantra has been a positive is a positive.
Yes, that's an excellent phrase.
Yeah.
So then the camera operator probably in Sunday afternoon started to have some flu-like symptoms. And then we hunkered down. The funniest part about this is like, I'm a prepper, like, let's be prepared for this. I go on to, Amazon has a Amazon pantry delivery warehouse 10 blocks from our house in Brooklyn. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do Amazon pantry. I ordered all this fancy food thinking, I'm going to be home. I'll just make some really nice dinners and lunches.
Oh my God.
And I touched none of it.
Oh my gosh.
So the day that I was really the second day when I was not feeling well, I ordered the chicken soup.
Yes.
The throat lozenges and the hot cold fever medicine and all that. So you might want to stock some flu-like foods in cans.
Yeah, I feel like you did the smartest thing was you called your doctor right away.
Yes. I called my doctor, and because I have asthma and because we live in New York City has kind of been on the forefront of this thing, and they made arrangements with Pfizer to have a drug called Paxlovid available. It's an antiviral. And since I'm getting older, which I don't want to admit, and I have asthma, and I called my doctor, and I literally said, I feel like I've been run over by a truck. And he's like, all right, we're going to get you this drug. And by the end of the day, someone with a car, which is unusual for deliveries here, pulls up and drops off this brown paper bag with this prescription in it. So as soon as I took that, within an hour, I felt less bad.
Mm-hmm.
So if you qualify, I'll link to a New York Times article. I'm sure some other articles, but your county or city health department may have this available, or your doctor. A lot of doctors don't know that their patients can qualify for it.
Yeah, did the camera operator try to get it?
Yes. She went through her office. Her company has an online doctor service, a
Yep.
telemedicine service, and spoke to the person, and they said basically you're too healthy.
Okay.
So
Well,
it's in limited supply, so you have to have some pre-existing
right.
conditions.
I mean, I think the pro tip that you just mentioned is calling your city or county health department, because we did that as soon as we got home. And the woman interview, it was an extensive interview. I mean, I was probably on the phone with her for 30 minutes figuring out who we had been with, when we had tested positive. And it turned out that was really smart, because in order to get our money back, we had paid for the insurance on the flight, which I never buy that insurance. It's always like, click a button if you want to insure your flight. I was like,
Right.
eh. The one time I was like, well, it's COVID. It's $30. Let's do this. I mean, I don't know how much it was, but it wasn't much. And because I had that county health department letter, that's how we got, the insurance company wanted that letter.
This is very interesting to bring this up because my wife, might be more from, she has tried to visit her mom 4 times. And because of us getting COVID or the airline shutting down, um, the flight has been changed. And if we did not have that paperwork, she would have had to pay a penalty to change the flight.
Right.
So going forward on any air travel, we are buying the travel insurance because COVID is here to stay, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's if you have a $600 flight, I don't know what the insurance is, but it's less. Also check with your credit card company. They may insure you automatically for that kind of
Right.
thing.
That's true too. Well, and we ended up using half of our leftover half ticket. We had to use it by, I don't know. We just went to LA last weekend for spring break because we had like enough credits.
There you go.
So that worked out.
So I felt like I had a clamp on my head for 3 days. I took Tylenol, cold and flu. They
Mm-hmm.
have a daytime, nighttime pack. There's generic Walgreens has their own version of it. They look like pretty big horse pills, but just follow the instructions, and that made it much more bearable.
Yeah.
I ordered cases of Gatorade. I asked the camera operator, which flavor do you want? I like the orange flavor, and just did tons of herbal tea and laying low. And then I had to text like 15 people that I had seen over the weekend. We don't usually see that many people sometimes, and all of a sudden I was like, wow, I had to see all these people. And some of them were in disbelief. Oh, I'm fine. I'm like, would you just go get tested, please?
I know. Don't mess around.
And I don't know if they did or not, but I was like, okay, I've done my due diligence. I
Right.
told you all. Then the biggest scare was I had hung out with 2 different friends that have terminal illnesses.
Mm.
And luckily, I wasn't infectious yet when I had hung out with them. But I was really, really worried about that. So just you got to tell everybody.
Yeah, you do. I felt a little embarrassed.
Yes, I did too.
Like, how did I mean, I avoided it for so long. How did this? And so then you kind of rack your brain. Where did it happen? So we were
Yes.
able to narrow our exposure down to like 2 places that it possibly could have, happened, because we had been really good about masking. The boys were good about masking. Yeah.
I think I know where I got it, but who knows? You could be the grocery store. But there were 2 people that I had spent half a day with who had been bragging about how much time they had spent in bars lately and how
Oh.
late they were in the bar last night. And I'm like, okay.
Putting my mask on. Yeah, no, yeah, I mean, it's almost like it's in the air or something.
And also the new variants are more transmissible. So
Right.
the other thing is I was literally thinking the other day, I have my 2 shots, Moderna, and then I got my booster in November. And so this is April, and I'm thinking, oh, I should get my booster again because it's going to be 6 months. It's
Right.
like going to the dentist now. And that's when I got sick. So my friends have said, well, what good's the vaccine if you're going to get sick? It either lessens the severity or keeps you from getting it. But the vaccine efficacy, the power, strength of it, dwindles over time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I would be interested what your doctor would say because my biologist professor friend said that, once you've had it, it's like a booster and you have like another 6 months that you could
Yes.
wait before
Yeah.
you
So
have to
now
get
I'm
it.
Superman. I can
Yeah.
go to any bar I want.
Well, the other thing though, I don't know about, I mean, you're not that far into it, but I would say it took me a good 3 months till before we got sick, I had been, going on like a 2.5 mile run walk every day as part of this challenge I did. And I would say even just, I mean, this was last August, but just, in the last couple months have I felt like back to normal energy.
Yes. That's what I'm experiencing as well. I am about 3.5 weeks out. And the last couple of days I've had a headache and no energy. And I took a nap at 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Today I feel fine.
I
Today I
mean,
edited a Troy Built video. Well, we could talk about that in a bit, actually. There's a Troy Built fix your yard and win prizes thing going on. But
but what I will say about that is to the extent that you can, and I realize not everybody can, but give yourself permission to take it a little slow.
and it's hard because right now it's warm weather
Yep.
now. There's the bees to take care of. There's the yard. I got to plant grass this weekend, and I have to shovel a bunch of dirt this weekend. And because of I've never really had bad asthma. I mean, I don't sound like a donkey having an attack. I just feel this tightness if I exercise or stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now my chest hurts every day.
Mm.
So
Well, there
it's
was an interesting article that the normal X-rays are not showing any lung problems, but if you use the kind with the radioactive ingredient, it can sometimes show actual lung issues that aren't coming up on regular X-rays. But I think a lot of it is just takes time for your body to heal, and you know,
it. Oh yeah, I breathe. For my asthma, I have taken these breathing tests where
hmm
they kind of it's a chair inside a plexiglass cube,
oh
and they have it looks like those guys that are like the super athletes that they're on the treadmill and they have the
yes,
mouth thing in their mouth. It's like that, except on a treadmill. And they will test your reaction to breathing normal, short little breaths and stuff. And then they give you albuterol, which is an asthma treatment. And then they test your lung function. So I just having had asthma since I was a kid, I know when I have diminished lung function. I can feel it now. So, oh, and I wanted to go back to the idea of the vax. I wrote some notes for the show actually, and I skipped right over them. But as far as the vaccine, I have a good friend who got COVID before the vaccines were available, and she said she was hospitalized, and she said it was like breathing through a straw for 3 weeks.
ugh,
And so having COVID with the vaccine was uncomfortable, but I wasn't like trying to breathe through a soda straw for 3 weeks, which just, I could not imagine that. So it gave me a lot of appreciation for modern medicine there.
all day long. Yeah, totally.
Ooh. And they would like flip her on her back and flip her on her stomach. And that was a thing. I was really worried. But anyway, I have, am taking a multivitamin now. I don't know how the efficacy of vitamins are not, but I thought, the jar of vitamins, $15.
Well, do you know that website, Information is Beautiful?
No.
So I think they're British, but they do data visualization, and they have a great, actually interactive graphic where it will go through all supplements, and they have it backed up with the actual scientific reports, and it's kind of green, yellow, red columns, but like the vitamins we're not 100% sure if they help, but they don't do any harm.
There you go. I also
So,
haven't had a drink since I got sick, and I have no desire to. It's very
yeah,
interesting.
no, that's true. Yeah.
So as far as kind of the long term, I think it's kind of gotten me to, in the winter I was kind of eating some junky food and stuff, and so now I
Yeah.
have oranges, or what are those little oranges that come in the
Clementines.
clementines. I got some apples at the farmer's market, and I've been making protein shakes at Costco. They had this big thing of some kind of super organic superfood protein shake powder, and I was like, well, $20, what the hell? And so I have two bananas, the protein powder, some cinnamon, and peanut butter or walnuts. Walnuts are a superfood, I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
And I alternate that with oatmeal for breakfast. I'm thinking, okay, I hopefully these superfoods are building up my body again,
Um,
and I'm just going for walks.
there's this great company called Daily Harvest, and for those of you out there who aren't interested in like making your smoothie yourself, they mail you the smoothies unconstituted. So there are these, you get the cup with the lid, and then you put it in your bullet with a little bit of
Yep.
water, and it makes your smoothie for you, which I mean, I don't know. They're quite good. They know what they're doing, those people.
Shameless affiliate link plug here, but I will link to the bullet blender thing that
Oh,
I
yeah.
use. It comes with a whole kit where the 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 blender container that you're making the smoothie, and you can clamp on a little handle to it, and and a little screw on top, and it becomes your smoothie drinking vessel. It can go in the car,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can jog with it
exactly.
and stuff.
I
So
love
we
that.
do get a affiliate link for that, but it helps pay the bills here. So thank you for that.
Hey, one other thing is I want to give you permission. If you start moving this dirt this weekend, call a friend, pay somebody, don't overdo it because that I think is a real detriment to recovery from COVID is overdoing it.
This actually just happened. I don't like anyone doing any work on my house. And the camera operator, we have the little house upstate is cedar clapboard that's painted white. It's a center chimney New England colonial. And it's been getting some green mossy mold growing on it over the years. And the camera operator's like, could you, I'm like, oh, no, no, I'm going to power wash it. I'm going to power wash it. And then I realized I have to go buy a power washer,
Oh
and
God.
we have an exposed basement, so there's a very tall side of the house, and I'm like, how am I going to get all the way up there? So I texted one of my neighbors who runs a lawn and snow plowing service, and I said, can you power wash my house? He said, yeah. And a week later, it was done, and I wasn't exhausted.
Mm-hmm. Right?
And
Exactly.
the camera operator said, I really appreciate you starting to let us just pay people to do things.
Oh.
I hate spending money.
Oh, that
So,
camera operator, she's the greatest.
yeah. So, yeah, if there's some big project going on, I mean, I don't, I haven't put out as many videos because I've been like
Tired.
just tired. And I don't
Yeah.
really like to sound whiny about it, but it has given me an appreciation for people that have chronic illnesses. It
Yeah.
could be cancer, it could be a chronic fatigue syndrome. And I'm just like, I never really thought about what it feels like to wake up and not have the energy to crawl out of bed. But after having COVID, I know what that's like.
Hey, well, tell me about the video thing that you have coming up though, because that sounds like fun.
Oh, with Troy Built, which is a sponsor of Garden Fork, and the full rules to this promotion will be in the show notes here. But so yeah, it's called Troy Built Yard Games. It's coming over the next 3 months. Spruce up your yard, doing different projects every month. You log on to the Troy Built Games website and post pictures, talk about what you've done, and you can qualify to win prizes. So the prize information and the link will be in the show notes here. But I'm making Instagram reels. They're 60-minute videos. I'm doing 3 projects, and I just finished the first one, which is to rebuild a raised bed that was rotting. And we shot it all on the iPhone in the Instagram reel format, and it's me and the Labradors. And it was fun because it's a format I've never done before. I usually do this beginning to end 8 to 9 minute video.
Uh-huh.
And this has to be 60 seconds.
Oh, yeah, you said 60 minutes, and I was like, wow, Eric, that's really long. But you meant 60 seconds. Okay.
Right. So it is sponsored. The rules and information are being the show notes here. It's sponsored by Troy-Bilt, who has been recently acquired by Stanley Black & Decker. So interesting stuff going on.
Well, that sounds like fun. Okay, so you did the raised beds. That's
That's the first video. And then there'll be two more coming up. So you can follow me on Instagram to learn all about that. And also, you can subscribe to my email newsletter because I'm announcing it in there every time as well. Fun, huh?
Okay, so can we win something? What do we win?
Troy-Bilt equipment.
Oh, that's awesome. All right.
Outdoor power equipment.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
In D.C., they recently, starting January 1st, gas blowers they're outlawed. They're illegal.
Yes, they have electric ones that you can use now.
Right.
So all for that.
Yeah, me too.
I got. Okay, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I don't remember what I was going to say.
All right. Hey, I wanted to thank everyone that reached out to me after the subway attack. It's people are like, oh, I wonder if that was Eric, and yes, it was. That is our subway station. The camera operator was there 30 minutes before that happened. So the attack actually happened before that subway pulled into our stop, but then that's where everyone piled out. So just wanted to say thanks that people had asked about us. It's but literally 24 hours later, I was on that subway platform because I'm just not going to let terrorists ruin my day, you know?
Yeah.
I think we just have to kind of keep moving on. And 99% of the people in New York, 99% of the people in the world, I think, are good people. It's just the bad guys kind of suck up all the oxygen. So.
Right. Yeah, I saw you post that, and that was good to see.
Don't let the bad guys win.
Right.
So there you go. All right. So if you have some coping tips with COVID, that'd be fun to hear from you. It's radio@gardenfork.tv. It's always great to hear from you all. If you want to support the show, consider becoming a Garden Fork patron. I post kind of behind the scenes stuff. Actually, I posted 2 things this morning. Nicole's a patron. I don't know if you got those things or not.
I did. I saw the puppies.
Yeah. And consider if you're shopping on Amazon using our Amazon links. Nicole and I are going to stick around and do an after show for the patrons. And that's always kind of a 10-minute behind the scenes thing as well. So go out, do cool stuff, and let me know about it, all right? Thank you so much for listening. Garden Fork Radio is produced by Garden Fork Media LLC in Brooklyn, New York. Our producer is Sean O'Neill. If you need an amazing podcast producer, visit Sean's site, SeanInBrooklyn.com. That's Sean, SEAN, in Brooklyn.com. Our executive producer is Jimmy Goose. For more information about Jimmy and the custom hollow books he makes, visit hollowbooks.com. The music in the show is licensed from audioblocks.com and uniquetracks.com.